Alright guys, so I had to pull out the old troubleshooting manual, get online and look through Canon's troubleshooting process for, I've got a Canon what is this, a TS3322 right here. And it had an error code on the screen. When you first started it up, it would go green and then it would flash like a yellow, orange, green, yellow, orange, green, yellow, orange, green. And on the screen itself it said P10, which typically means, according to Canon, there's something wrong with the ink cartridges or the encoder strip. It's the plastic strip that goes from one end to the other. There's a little spring on one side, and then on the other side there's a little hook, and it's these two little fingers. They stick out. The spring goes on one side. It goes through the back of the let me show you real quick. See that little plastic strip back there? It's right in the middle of the band, that belt that drives everything. It's this little strip right in the back, right here. I'm touching it. Right in the middle. And it goes, there's a little finger all the way over there on the end. Let me see if I can zoom in. Right there on the end, you see the end of that plastic strip that goes into that silver little elbow with an angle? It goes from that side, and then it goes through the back of the plastic. There's a slot, and then it goes back over in that corner, and you can see where it's spring loaded right there in that corner. The little finger. Right back there. Sorry, it's not one to focus. There you go. You can see that little spring back there now real clear. And there's that spring. It hooks onto that clear little thin strip, and it goes all the way. It goes through the back of this assembly. There's a little square slot in the back of it. And then it goes all the way over to the other side. Way over in there. In that corner. And that encoder popped off of this. And it was throwing that P107 or P10 code. It says it could be ink cartridges that are messed up, or it could be the strip. Well, I took this TS3322 apart, and then I didn't realize, man, I wanted to make a video on this, so my bad. I'll show you what I did. Up under here, there's a little tab that you push back, and this thing will snap into it. On the back here, there is a screw here, a Phillips screw, and then there's another one over here, a Phillips screw, and then over here in this corner there's another Phillips screw. What I did is I had to take a little thin flat blade screwdriver, pop this cover off, and then look down in here, and I was like, oh wow, there's a screw underneath this lip. It's underneath this piece here. So take this screw out right here, take this screw out over here. In this corner, I got it out right now. I'm putting it back in. It goes right here in this corner. And then when you lift this up, there's going to be a little ribbon attached right here. Lift it up and don't put a lot of stress on it. Just kind of push it or lay it off to the side. And there's a screw right here underneath this corner that attaches down here. Pull that screw out. And then there's two ribbons back here. You see these ribbons? They're connections. They just fit down inside the slots where they're at. The fatter one is over here on this side, and the thinner one's over here on this side. And you just kind of wiggle them nice and gently out of there. Take the other one, wiggle it out of there nice and gently. And then once you get that off, you get this, the clip in the front push back, and these two screws here. This whole top piece just comes right off of it. And then you can hook your encoder strip and stuff back up. You can take some like a Q-tip with some either alcohol or some Windex and dip it in a little bit of it, and then clean that encoder strip back and forth. So I did that, hooked everything back up, and then now I'm like, dang it, I should have made the video from start to finish. But anyhow, that's where we're at. Let's hook it all back up. Let's finish putting it together and see if it works. And by the way, here's a Phillips screwdriver. This is not a magnetic screwdriver. You know how I made it a magnetic screwdriver? Let me show you real quick. The magnet on the bottom of my light, my Cyclops light, see that magnet right there? I just took it and I twirled it around a little bit like this, and I charged that shaft up. And now that it's charged up, I've got a magnetic screwdriver. And now I can hold it to get into these little tight spots like this and not lose it. This is just a cheap Chinese kit off Amazon my wife bought years ago. That snaps back on. Got it plugged back in. Let's start it up. Alright, I set an error by leaving that door open. I couldn't get it to fire up right away. And there was a code that popped up here that said E03. And then I looked it up in the manual and it said paper jam or door open. I closed this door right here, shut it back off, and then as it was shutting off, it went ahead and did a recycle and did a bunch of spinning and resetting and everything else. And it kind of like, I think it probably configured itself. Turn it back on. There we go, it's moving. It didn't do that before. And we're working. Okay. And we're green, connected, and ready to print. So let's print now. Moment of truth. I hear it doing something. I'm gonna have to put some more paper in there. Oh, and put some new ink cartridges in there too. I put ink cartridges in there, but I get these off Amazon. They're X03, X003, X2MIMEI something. I'll put the link down below for them. I get them off Amazon for half the price. And there we go. It's printing. And it's fixed. You see how this paper's got these little dots in between, these blemishes? Look above the word joint right there. See that blemish? And then if you go up right there in the center, there's a blemish. There's a blemish. These little wheels right here. It's got a smudge of ink on it, right? These little wheels that roll the paper out. So as it's rotating around, it's causing that ink to end up as a smudge on the paper. So you could go through there and clean all these off. Again, I'm just using some Windex. You can use rubbing alcohol. You use whatever you want. That's what that is. Clean those little feet. Each one of those little rubber rollers. Now you're not going to get it perfectly clean. Just get the big chunks off of there. Now after you print something, or after you clean those little rubber feet, the rollers, if you're going to try to print something right away, you might have to put a few pieces of paper through it before it gets all the residual water and stuff on there off, and then it'll start coming out clean. There we go. No more smudges, no more nothing. Good to go. Hope you guys like this kind of content. I'm just doing whatever to fix whatever around the house just to stay busy, and I'm making content on it. Appreciate y'all. Be blessed.